Hey folks, I decided to give you a look at how things are growing for my 2014 tomato seedlings. Now I started these February 13th. I guess that means I'm not very superstitious. They've been growing pretty good, so I'm not too worried about that. Now it's like March 4th, so it's a short month, so I think around 20 days, maybe 19. So yeah, that's when I started them from seed. I've been growing them in these 6-pack cells. At least most of them. I actually ran out of 6-pack cells, so these are in the 9-pack. But I think I have pretty close to 100% germination. I planted roughly 3 or 4 seeds in each cell. I'm growing 13 varieties this year. Another with 13, I don't know. 13 always shows up in my life. It doesn't seem to cause me too many problems, so. But, anyways, yeah, I'm doing 13 varieties. That just turned out to be how many of my seeds that I was interested in planting. I probably have about 16 or 17 different varieties of seeds. Just a few of them I kind of wasn't as interested in growing. Some of the varieties are a little similar to each other, so I kind of just picked one. I only have so much room, so I'm probably going to have maybe 25 mature plants myself. The rest I'll give away. Some of the ones like the cherry tomatoes, I primarily grow those in like topsy-turvies or in containers. I don't really like to take up too much of the garden with those. I'll plant a few of them, like the yellow pear tomato. That's a really good one. You plant one of those and it just takes up a huge amount of space, but you're going to get hundreds and hundreds of tomatoes, which I don't mind. They're nice little snack tomato or salad tomato. But I'm going to focus a little more this year on growing some of the bigger ones. You can put on a sandwich or whatever. So I basically went with germinating these right in the soil, in the 6-packs and the 9-packs. I basically filled up these with some soil. The soil was a little bit dried out, so what I did was I bottom watered before I even put seeds in. I let them soak up or wick up the water for a couple hours. Then I put the seeds in, just sprayed with a spray bottle, just to keep the top moist, and that was it. They just germinated. I had pretty good luck with this. I also put them right underneath the lights from the start, so that's more for the heat than anything. When the seed's underneath, it doesn't grow up towards the light. It basically, seeds work on gravity until they actually are above the soil, and then they go towards the light. So yeah, since then, it's been, like I said, around 20 days. I think I've watered these, bottom watered them, maybe 3 times. Could be 4, but I think 3 times. So they haven't used a lot of water. One of the times was yesterday. So it's still, the soil's nice and moist, but not sopping wet. So this method's been working pretty good. It's very easy. You don't have to do anything. All I really do is, because I have it in kind of a lopsided base here, I'll just take these and I'll put them on the floor, and then I'll take, I usually use this kind of thing to filter the water from the sink, and then I'll just water them down till they're probably about a thumb width of depth of water, and that's enough for it to just soak right up. And usually after that I put it back up here once it's pretty much soaked in, and then usually by overnight all the, or at least most of the water is all dried out or soaked up into the soil. So that works pretty good. This year I also decided to try something a little different fertilizer wise. I have some liquid fertilizer. I've had it around for a while. I don't really use it that much, but I decided to try it, see how the results would be. So I used a really weak mixture. I wouldn't even say it was a 1/3 strength mixture. It was probably like a 1/5 strength mixture of the stuff I had. I think it's like a 12-12-12 or maybe 12-7-12, something like that. But I just wanted to see what the results would be, and I'd have to say I think it did make a difference. These are quite a bit more bushy and thicker stalks than I had in last year's round of tomatoes. So either it's coincidence or it's helped, but I think based on this, I'm definitely going to try that again next year. I only applied that in 2 of my waterings, so it didn't take a lot, but I've been very happy with that. And let me just go through some of the varieties I'm growing. I'll try and post some below in the notes too, if you want to have a look. Might give you some ideas on some different tomatoes that you can grow. Because I don't really like to grow just the standard regular grocery store type tomatoes. I like to try different things. Not that there's anything wrong with the other ones. I just like to try something that I can't really buy. Oh yeah, so here's one variety I'm growing. It's I think called like a KY1 determinant tomato. I got this from someone else. This is the first year I'm growing determinant tomatoes. For those of you that don't know, they're basically tomatoes that'll grow in June and into July, and then that's it. They're done for the year. The benefit of that is they're usually the first tomatoes to come up, so you get kind of a longer growing season where these will be the first ones to come up, they'll be the first ones finished, and then hopefully you can plant some other things where you're growing them, you know, maybe a late summer crop or something like that. I'm kind of excited to try that. I think I have 3 plants. I'm going to try and see if I can plant all of them. Then I have some other ones that did well last year. We had a very, very wet season here last year. It wasn't actually very warm either. Some of the times it was cold, some of the times it was just not hot. We're used to getting fairly warm summers here, even though the winters were pretty bad here. But yeah, just wasn't that great. But anyway, some of the ones I had that grew really well, and these are heirloom tomatoes like the black Seaman and the black Krim. They both did very well regardless of the weather. Whereas I had some other ones that I think they really didn't do well because of the wetter weather. One of them was the OSU Blue tomato. That's one of these tomatoes. It's also called indigo blue, I think. Grows into a blue tomato. So yeah, we just didn't have a lot of sunlight. It was pretty bad summer, I think. Oh, and also I got a pretty neat one coming up. I've never tried this. I got this from Rob Bob. It's the Tigerella tomato. It looks kind of like tiger stripes. It's kind of interesting. Looks like a neat tomato, so that'll be cool. Grape tomatoes, I always grow those every year, just for like snacking tomatoes, I call them. What else? Oh, yellow Multiflora. That was a really neat tomato. It was the first time I grew it was last year. I just couldn't believe it. I think I ended up just growing one plant, and it was just crazy. I grew it up on like a big 6-foot pole, and I just tied it to it. And they grow really small tomatoes, but they grow in bunches like grapes. So in one bunch, you get like 20, 30, I don't know, maybe more tomatoes. So that was really neat, and they're kind of easy to pick that way, because you just get this huge bunch, so you just get your scissors out, cut them off, and you just have this big whack of tomatoes. They grew really well, so I'm going to grow at least one plant for myself for that, and I grew a couple extra for gifts. These are probably a really good tomato plant you want to give somebody who, you know, they're not like hardcore into gardening, because these are really easy to grow, and something that they won't have to pay too much attention to, and probably find a little bit of success. Yeah, I also got some plum tomatoes. I think it's always good to have plum tomatoes, whether you use them for cooking or whatever. If they do really well, you can always make a sauce. A lot of people think that they're the best for making sauce, and I probably tend to agree. Also, even with last year's bad weather here, the plum tomatoes, they seem to do just fine, so that's another reason, because you never know, it might be a bad, another bad year. Hopefully not, but we'll see. You gotta be prepared for that kind of thing. Also the yellow pear tomato, that's a crazy one I like to grow. More yellow cherry tomatoes. Yeah, OSU. Oh, and also last but not least, the Cherokee Purple. Looks like I'm growing 3 of those. And yeah, these are one of my favorites for sure. Grow those every year. Yeah, they're a really nice tomato. Very low acid, in my opinion. They just don't have that kind of tart bite that some of the other ones have, but I kind of like that. I just like how it's just a nice smooth tomato, very meaty and tasty. So yeah, I'm all excited about growing that. But yeah, based on how things are going, I think I'm going to be transplanting these this week. I think it's very likely. They're bushing out very well. If you look at the size of the stalks, you know, they're getting big. So I'm going to be putting these in solo cups like this. And yeah, I just put the solo cups. They have 2 or 3 holes in the bottom each, and I put them inside the tray like this, and I'll grow a whole row of them. I might even switch to these other new square containers I got. They're 4-inch, and just put those all in the row. The reason I put them in this is so I can just water them just as I have with these, and it's very easy, a lot quicker than, you know, watering every single container like this. So, and bottom watering is much better. It's just very consistent. You don't have to worry about if you missed one or whatever, because you're just watering the whole thing. And of course, these aren't really what I'd call leggy, but I am going to plant these a little deeper into the solo cup and let them establish a better root system. But yeah, you can also do it to kind of fix legginess. I don't like to let my stuff go leggy in the first place, but yeah, it's always an option. Yeah, so I haven't really compared how these have done at this point compared to my last year's tomatoes, but I have a feeling these are quite a bit ahead, and that could be, I'm using the same soil, I'm using a newer light system that's, I think, more consistent, and I'm also using the fertilizer, so I think I'm going to say it's those few factors. And yeah, we'll keep going, we'll see how the progress is, and I can't wait till spring's here. I'm going to plant them outside. So I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching.